Hey everybody, it's Rory from A&S Gear, and we're going to look at a part for the Tippmann Cyclone feeders today. This is the Warrior soft paddles. Now we've seen soft paddles out there before, but we've never seen them for $9.95. We've got two soft paddles right here. We've got black ones and red ones, and they are both the same softness or squishiness, if you want to call it that. But we just have them in two different colors, so you can get something that's a little bit different for your gun. Now, install on a squishy paddle, or a soft paddle, I should say, is not difficult. If you're familiar with your A5, it's easy to do. I've done other videos of installing soft paddles before, so I'm not going to do a breakdown of this gun and actually put it in. I will kind of just show you what you want to do to get it in and out of there, though. Very, very simple. I do recommend removing the Cyclone feed off of the gun to do it, though, and that is not difficult. Before I start, I guess I should kind of give you an idea of why maybe you want some soft paddles on there. The original paddles that come inside of the Cyclone feed are rather stiff. They're a pretty hard plastic in there, and they're rotating that paint around. Every time you shoot, it's pushing another ball into the gun, pushing another ball into the gun. Now, under high rates of fire, or if you are shooting kind of brittle paint, which I don't recommend shooting brittle paint through an A5. But if you're shooting paint that is more on the brittle side, you don't want any extra force on that paint that might cause it to crack or break before it gets into the gun itself. And with the harder plastic arms of the original paddle in here, you can run into that issue. So they've designed softer paddles that as they are rotating and helping move that paint along and push it into the breech of the gun, it puts less stress on the ball and helps eliminate breakage or cracking and keeping everything else clean. You can see how soft and squishy these are. This will even, as this rolls around, if we get to the point where maybe you've got a jam and this is trying to rotate and push paint in there, but it can't, where it'll actually skip by the ball without smashing the ball into pieces. So soft paddles are a good thing to have, and I would recommend putting some soft paddles in just because. They're cheap, 10 bucks, and the install is easy, and it will add a benefit to what your Cyclone hopper is doing. Now again, to do this, to take it on and off, I'm going to see if I can just remove this real quick for you. I don't know if I have to find a first guess. Look at that. So we're going to remove this screw that's right above the handle right here. We're going to set that off to the side, and then with a flathead screwdriver, we are going to remove or unscrew this front gas port right here. So depending on what model Cyclone feed you have, you could have a T banjo fitting where you've got a hose going here and a hose going here off the same banjo, or if you have a more recent model A5, you'll have two separate banjos with one feeding gas into the front and one feeding gas to the back. So we're going to remove the screw off of the hose that is in the Cyclone feed piston assembly up here. And once we have this out and this unscrewed, we should be able to just pop this thing right off. Just like that, makes it super easy. Now from here, all you need to do is, if right in the top right there, there's a Phillips head screw. You're going to remove that screw out, and there's a washer that sits underneath the screw. Once the screw and the washer are out, you can just grab a hold of the paddles and slide them right up and out of the assembly. Then you're going to take your new paddles, and being careful of the direction that you pulled them out to begin with, you're going to drop the new ones in. On the paddle setups, there are two sizes. There's a bigger paddle like this one and then a smaller paddle. The small paddle goes at the bottom, okay? It goes at the bottom with the circular design at the bottom, and the tabs, you'll see 3 tabs right there. They are sticking up. Those tabs lock into this section of the paddle, so it's kind of like an index, and it makes everything line up together like that. Now you also want to look at the hole. The hole, let me see if I can do this for you. The hole has a flat side to it as well. So you want to make sure that the flat sides for both pieces line up, and that they also, the posts go in the right spot. So both flat spots should be there because the post that is inside here has a flat spot on it as well. So you want to make sure you slide that down with the flat spot being in the right spot and these two things lining up. You don't want to somehow, although you wouldn't be able to get it together, have it line up like this where you have like some sort of weird sea anemone, sea star thing going on. That's not going to help it out. So flat spots on the post holes lined up, that will make the arms line up so that they are in sync with each other, just like that, and will spin together. I had actually that backwards. I want to make sure it looks right for you guys too, like that. All right, drop that in, put the washer down, put the screw back in, take your Cyclone feed, put it back on the gun. I would put this one in first, tighten that down, and then we are going to line up our gas line with our piston right here. And then we can screw those back together. And done. It's a very simple install for a great upgrade that is cheap right now to do to your gun. So get these from the website, Warrior soft paddles in red or black. Get yours at ansgear.com.